Hello, Miles here from Tech Silver. Today I'm going to be telling you about our new versatile GPS tracker. Now, this is ideal for many different purposes, especially those with dementia that go wandering, tracking children that might go missing, lone workers, and just about anyone else that you need to either be able to locate or keep in contact with should something bad happen. This device is ideal for all of those purposes. So I'm going to go through all the features of this tracker in detail today, but let's start off with summarising what makes this better than many other trackers on the market. Well, you can locate them any time of day or night using the free tracking app for iOS or Android, as well as the GPS tracking website. You can be alerted when they've left or entered certain areas, which are called geozones or safe zones, ideal for people with dementia that go wandering. It's also got an SOS button on the side, which when it's been pressed and held for a couple of seconds, will send an SOS notification to your smartphone app and will also send out a phone call from the device to the numbers which you set. You can also call this device at any time. It will automatically answer and you can speak to the person with the device on a very loud and clear speakerphone. We also sell it in many different ways, so it can be used as a keyring, it can be used worn around the neck as a lanyard, and it can also come as a necklace, so with a real silver chain, so it looks like a locket or pendant. So very versatile in the ways that it can be used. Well, to start off with then, it's very compact and discreet. It's 38mm by 38mm by only 12mm deep, and that's about 1.1 inches by 1.1 inches and about 0.5 inches deep. This makes it very easy to transport, compact and discreet. I don't think it particularly looks like a tracking device. Another major advantage of this device is battery saving technology. One of the biggest problems with GPS devices is ensuring they last long enough. Well, this has got two smart features. To begin with, you can set how often you'd like the location to update, every minute, 10 minutes or every hour. But unlike many other trackers, you can change that on the fly. So for example, you might have it set to update every 10 minutes and then find out that your loved one is missing. Well, with this device, you can go straight on the app and change the update frequency to something more frequent, for example, every minute. And that means you can be in contact with them and find them much quicker. Now, many other devices on the market, you can't change that remotely, so you're stuck with whichever one you've set, or you have to wait until the end of the update frequency. Now, either of those would be bad if you're looking for somebody, but with this, you've got that flexibility to change the update frequency of locations as frequently or as often as you'd like to. Another really clever battery saving facility on this is when it's been in the same GPS location for 10 minutes or more, it stops updating. So if somebody's been sat having a coffee in the same place, or perhaps they're at home and they've put the tracker on the side, it doesn't continuously update its location unnecessarily and waste battery life. But as soon as it starts moving again and that GPS location changes, it will start updating as usual again. So this gives it a really good flexibility and enables it to be not wasting battery when it's not being used. Another thing that makes this tracker better than others on the market is a really good location history. Now with this device, you've got a very specific history. You can set the days or the times of day that you'd like to see where the tracker has been, and then you can see an exact breadcrumb trail of exactly where it's been, and it will draw lines between those to show a rough route. Now this is really useful, particularly if somebody's going wandering, to see where they've been going, or maybe to help you locate them if you're not sure where they have gone in the past. Many other trackers either don't have location history, or there isn't a very good history log, so it hasn't got many updates. It might only have sort of 3 or 4. This is really reliable and it gives you an excellent idea of where the device has been. Okay, so let's start out with the GPS tracking. Well, this is a fantastic GPS tracker that enables you to see the location of the device through a free tracking app, which is available for Android devices like Samsung's and iPhones. You can also log in on a tracking website, so you don't have to have a smartphone. Ideal for people who maybe don't have a smartphone, or even for businesses out there that can use their work office computer instead of their personal devices to locate somebody, for example, a care home. Okay, so this device can update every minute, every 10 minutes, or every hour. Now, as I mentioned before, you can change that at any time, which is really, really useful. The reason why that's useful is, let's for example say you got it updating every 10 minutes to preserve battery, but then you find out that someone's gone missing. You could instantly go on your app and update that to every minute from every 10 minutes, so that when they're missing, you know you're much closer behind them, much hotter on their heels, and that means of course you can intercept and locate them quicker, but it also means that you don't have to have it updating all the time every minute. You can wait until, you know, perhaps you realize they've gone missing and changed it on the fly. So that makes it a really useful feature. Updating more frequently might be better for somebody like a child who might go missing, or somebody with advanced stages of Alzheimer's who may go wandering. And updating less frequently might be better suited for somebody who's relatively independent, who doesn't really need somebody to keep an eye on them constantly, or perhaps even for lone workers, objects like cars and valuables. You don't need to be updated, you know, as often as possible about where they are, but you just want those incremental updates. And as I said, you can change that whenever you like between those 3 update frequencies. So on this location update, you can see the time and date the location was obtained, a rough address of where that person is right now, or where that update has taken place, the speed that they were traveling, if they were traveling at any speed, and the direction they were going with. Now this speed is really, really helpful. For example, maybe one of your loved ones is in a vehicle, or they've got onto public transport. It gives you a better idea of where they might be going and what they're doing at the time, as well as just their location. A really useful feature of this tracking device is geofences, or safe zones. Now these are predefined areas which you select that can be anywhere between 100 meters and 5 kilometers, and whenever the tracker enters or leaves that designated area, you will get a notification on your smartphone, and you can set that to be loud and audible. So let's for example say you sat watching TV in an evening and an elderly parent has gone wandering outside their safe zone. You can be sure that you know, you've got an audible notification on your phone that will let you know, and then you can do what you need to do to make sure that they are safe. You can have any number of people notified about them leaving or entering the geozone. So as long as somebody's logged in to the tracking app, you, other siblings, other carers can all be notified should somebody leave or enter that geozone. And of course, these geozones are really useful for somebody with dementia who might go wandering, because you and other family members can be alerted as quickly as possible as soon as that person leaves the home and starts to wander. This means you can get them safely at home as quickly as possible afterwards. So this isn't just a tracking device. You also have an SOS button on the side here. So when this is pressed and held for a couple of seconds, it will do a couple of things. The first of which it will do is notify anyone who's got the tracking app through a push notification. So you get a notification to say that the SOS button has been pressed. And also, if you wish, you can set it so that the device calls up to 2 phone numbers. So as I said before, it's got a speaker and a microphone built in. So when that SOS button is pressed, after it's sent those notifications out, a couple of seconds later, it will call the phone number you put in. And if that phone number doesn't answer, as long as they don't have voicemail activated, it will then move on to the next contact and ring them. When you answer, you'll be able to speak directly to the device through the speaker built in here. And also you'll be able to hear what they say through the built-in microphone here. So this is really useful if somebody perhaps has had a fall, maybe they're out and about and has had some sort of injury to them. Perhaps somebody's trying to break into their house or scam them at their door. You know, this SOS button is really, really useful. Another great feature of the calling functionality is you can call into the device anytime. So only specific numbers you set can call the device. So no unsolicited calls or scammers can get through. And when you call the device from one of these pre-approved numbers, it will automatically answer. So the wearer or the person with the device, they don't need to remember to press anything. It will automatically answer and go to a nice loud speakerphone. So I'll give you an example when this might be useful. Let's say I've got dementia and I've gone wandering, and I've got this maybe in my top pocket here, and my son, maybe he's just got a notification to say I've gone wandering. He could ring me before, of course, he's got a chance to come and find me. He could ring me, and of course this would then automatically answer to a loud speakerphone, and he might be able to speak to me and say something like, "Hi Dad, I'm coming to get you, stay where you are, just be safe," and have that initial conversation with the person who's gone missing before you're able to go and see them and intercept them. So it's useful for that purpose. Of course, somebody, especially with Alzheimer's, may not remember how to answer it, or even that they have a tracker on them. So the fact that it automatically answers is really helpful. Okay, so we've been selling tracking devices for many years with a particular expertise in keeping people safe, specifically those with Alzheimer's disease. Now, one of the biggest problems with trackers is making sure they take it with them. There's no point, you can have an excellent device, but there's no point giving them it if they're not going to remember to take it with them when they go off. So we've tried to make this as versatile as possible. Now, as you can see, this is very small and compact, and it comes with this little hole here. Now, we sell the device at the moment, and we're looking to expand this also. We can sell it with a keyring, which can be easily clipped, of course, on a set of keys, but also inside a woman's handbag or to a rucksack, or just about anything that has a loop on it. So we sell it with a keyring. We also sell it with a matching lanyard. So this means it can be comfortably worn around the neck, and it's much easier for them to remember that they've got it on them if it's around their neck. The other good thing about it being around their neck, as I mentioned before about having it in the top pocket, it makes it much easier to be able to call the person and they can hear you, because of course it's not too far away from their ears. And the final accessory that we sell this with at the moment is a real silver necklace. Now, I think this is really amazing, because if you look at what's out there at the moment, there's just no real nice tracking device that could be easily passed off with jewellery. However, with a real silver chain through there, they're 24 inches, so they'll easily go over most people's heads without having to undo the clasp at the back. It's made of a snake chain, so it's a really nice quality material, and I think it can easily pass off as a locket or a pendant, and this is ideal perhaps for more female users, so you can give it to them as a piece of jewellery and they might be much more likely to remember to take it with them, as opposed to something you just expect them to put in their pocket when they leave. If you look at what's out there at the moment in terms of pendant type tracking devices, I think they're designed in a quite stigmatising fashion, and they definitely couldn't be passed off as jewellery. However, with the nice chain, I think it can easily be passed off as such, and therefore make it much more likely that the person is going to take it with them. So that gives it that extra bit of versatility that, depending on the person you're looking to track and what their behaviours are, you can adapt this device to be useful for tracking them. So battery life is a big problem when it comes to GPS trackers, and I touched upon this earlier in the video. So this device has got these two very special ways to help preserve battery life. You're looking at between 1 and 5 days of battery life, and the reason for that sort of big difference between the two is, as I mentioned earlier, you can set it to update every minute, every 10 minutes, or every hour, and of course the more often it updates, the quicker the battery will be used up. But not only that, the device will go to sleep when it's been in the same location for 10 minutes or more. So you're more likely to get 5 days out of it. Let's just say if you've got it set to update every 10 minutes, but then it's on somebody's keys and they tend to just leave the keys on the side when they get in, and therefore, let's say, 20 or 22 hours out of 24, the tracker's sat on the side until they go out. Much more likely to get closer to 5 days to that. And then the 1 day would be more like if you had it updated every minute, and you had it on a vehicle which was driving for that whole 24 hours. So at no point was it in the same place for 10 minutes and it went to sleep. So that's what the difference is. How long it will last for you will depend upon, of course, how often you set it to update, and then how many hours in the day the device is in the exact same GPS location. For tracking people, you're looking at an average of at least 3 days, which is a lot better than many other on the market, particularly for something which updates every minute. You've got to bear in mind, there's lots of tracking devices out there which claim to last for weeks or months, but they're very unlikely to be updating every 60 seconds. And you need that frequency of update. If you've got a geofence, you need it to know they've left very quickly. If you've got it set to update every hour, it could be another 59 minutes before you're notified they've left that geofence. So bear that in mind when you're looking at trackers on the market. It's really important that frequency of update is something you consider when you're looking at the length of the battery life. So with all these things considered, this is a very versatile tracking device with reliable location updates, easily accessible through any of your mobile devices. You and your family members can simply keep an eye on loved ones, be alerted when they've left a certain area, be alerted when there's an emergency situation, and speak to them any time of day or night. This makes it a very well-rounded device, and in my opinion, one of the best things I've seen on the market, particularly in this category, in a very, very long time. So if you have any more questions or queries, please feel free to click on the link below, which will take you to the product page, which has much more information. I've also put a link below to our other tracking devices. Be sure to check that guide out if perhaps this isn't for you and you're looking for something else that may be more suitable. So thank you very much for watching. I've been Miles from Tech Silver, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.